Round 8 of the 2023 Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship 5 Nations Trophy is held at Lydden Hill in Kent. In dry conditions, we're ready for the final, retro final of 2023. It is Dan Swayland who starts on pole position with Simon Hart and Ian Biaggi alongside on the front row of the grid. Rob Buckmaster is on his own on row 2, sadly missing Paul Buckmaster from this one, what seems to be a technical problem. Anyway, it's all eyes then to the lights for one last time in 2023 for the Retros. Green light and go. Good start from Ian Biaggi off the outside of the front row of the grid, but keep an eye out for Dan Swayland from pole position. The rear wheel drive Mark 1 Escort getting it hooked up and taking the lead down in towards the first corner of Talladega. We should probably call it Chessons really, because that's of course a bit more akin to what these cars would have run back in their heyday in the retro class. Ian Biaggi closing up through the rough stuff there. It'll be an interesting game of cat and mouse actually between the Escort and the Mini. Kind of a similar story actually between Simon Hart and Rob Buckmaster in 3rd and 4th place there respectively as well, because you'll have the straight line speed of the Escort but the agility of the Mini and the Fiesta in the corners. So be keen to see how this one is going to play out. Usual retro stalwart in this race of Tony Lynch not competing actually. He's over in a different category for this weekend, but he has actually been crowned as the Retro Class Champion of 2023 already. So this is an all-out race for glory between these 4 drivers. No Joker lap, of course, in the Retro Class, just to remind you as well. They run akin to the rules that they would have done back in their heyday, and you can see the advantage that Dan Swayland has been able to build on Ian Biaggi in 2nd position already so far. In terms of how things have gone in the heats for Swayland so far, he took 3 heat victories, 1 4th place, which was in heat 2. So other than that, pretty much a clean sweep and has had a good points advantage. Simon Hart there in his Escort soaking up the pressure of Rob Buckmaster, who's had a good day as well. A couple of podium finishes, 2nd places in Q2 and then 3rd in Q3 and Q4. Up the top of Hairy Hill we go, and in towards the North Bend. Of course, rear-wheel drive Escort sliding his way out of that North Bend. The front-wheel drive Fiesta, very much a different kettle of fish, as Ian Biaggi, the Scotsman, in the BMC Mini Clubman, comes across the timing line. High and sideways line there for Dan Swayland as well, as he makes his way through Talladega. Difference in lines there between himself and Ian Biaggi, and quite a pronounced gap actually back to 3rd place. And Simon Hart now really coming under a lot of pressure here from the 150 of Rob Buckmaster. Can Buckmaster find his way through? As we know in motor racing, it's one thing to get close, it's another thing to be able to get past. Over the jump we go, down into the left hand of the Devil's Elbow. Slight lock up on the inside there on the brakes for Simon Hart, and I wonder whether that may be the opportunity that Buckmaster was looking for, as Biaggi gets it all understeery through the North Bend, with Swayland continuing on the gravel through Paddock Bend and across the timing line. I know it doesn't look dramatic from the outside, but I can tell you that it is very fast and frightening inside the cockpit. Simon Hart was not then overtaken by the looks of things by Rob Buckmaster, and indeed he's been able to pull out a bit more of a comfortable cushion as we look once again at the race leader of Dan Swayland. I have to say, it has been a fantastic retro rallycross season. Shirley Gibson, who is the pioneer really of this Retro Rallycross Championship. She does so much for all of these drivers to be able to come here and race, and it really is fantastic to see cars that were amazingly quick 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago in some cases, all still able to be fast and competitive in 2023, and long may it continue, because it does provide brilliant racing and it's a great spectacle for the fans at the side of the circuit as well. They've all come down to Lydden Hill here this weekend. Swayland then through and across the timing line to begin the last lap. What a nice comfortable race this has been for the number 22. Biaggi still sitting in 2nd position, with Simon Hart now more of a pronounced gap over Rob Buckmaster, who seems to somewhat have run out of steam a little bit there in that Ford Fiesta. Maybe he's just pushed his tyres that little bit too much, or Simon Hart has just been able to get his act together, but gets it really sideways off the curb. It's very close, and that could present an opportunity here for Buckmaster. He looks for the outside line at Talladega. They're 2x2. Can Buckmaster go around the outside? Yes, he can! Wow, what a drive there from Rob Buckmaster up through into 3rd place. A mistake from Simon Hart was all the impetus that Buckmaster needed to get himself up onto the podium in the last race of 2023, but what a drive it has been for Dan Swayland as well, through the final corner, across the line to win the final for round 8 of the Retro Rallycross Championship here, ahead of Ian Biaggi in second position, and Buckmaster soaking up that pressure from Simon Hart as Biaggi comes through Paddock Bend and across the line to take second place in his BMC Mini Clubman. And is Buckmaster going to be able to hold on from Simon Hart? I think he is. Through into Paddock Bend we go for the last time. Buckmaster takes the final podium place. What a fantastic drive from the 150. What a great race from Dan Swayland as well to take the final win in 2023 for the Retros.